Hey, welcome everybody to Spill the ImmuniTEA. I'm here with Alex, all the way in Taiwan, not Fiji, not Borneo, not Bora Bora, Taiwan. How you doing?
Taiwan. Taichung,
Taichung.
Taiwan. Yep. I'm doing well. We got a good episode this week. Well, we got a good challenge this week. I'll say that. We got a good challenge this week. So
we did. My MC was shining in this one, I thought.
Yeah, I was impressed. I was like, wow. Like she's like I was just super impressed with her. And I was actually more impressed with her tribe all lifting her up to place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a good challenge. That was like a Australian level challenge.
Yeah. It was really, really good. Poor Matt and balance beams just don't work.
Right. His dreads were throwing him off.
Is that what it was? Okay. I knew it was something.
Well, I think he was feeling confident because he's like, oh, I do this all the time at the airport.
Walking
I'm so
on balance
nimble.
beams?
Well, he's quick on his feet and carrying heavy objects, in small spaces, or over obstacles. So
he needs to rethink that because he was not. Newsflash, you were not. He was, I want to say that we did call it last week. So we went around the room and we said who was going home this week. And we were pretty set that it was going to be Matt. They were dropping a lot of clues that it was probably going to be Matt anyway. So this wasn't like rocket science to figure out who was going home. Right. I think it's a little bit more like questionable who will go home this next week. At least to me, I didn't see, maybe it's Sage. But I didn't see like a surefire. This is definitely the person going home. But I thought Matt was pretty obvious. Like we could see that coming a mile away.
Yeah, I think that they're hinting at either Sage or Shannon, next week. Or Jason, which, Jason was my second pick. I had great hopes for him, but I have no faith in him anymore. He doesn't seem like a very good player. I think he's funny. I have a good quote from him. We'll say that one later. But yeah, he did not perform well under pressure this week at all. And yeah, you knew Matt was going home because they gave like all the background and, they never really talked to him and, oh, now he's in finance and they like highlight him and they show his little scramble and they show nothing of Jason.
Right.
Jason, he's just a little crab in a hole with his pincers bared.
I know.
That was cute. So yeah, it was obvious that Matt was going home. And I did think Jawan's I don't know, I guess he just never connected with Matt. I think probably Matt's like overture to him and his plan to him was just like he never talked to Jawan and then all of a sudden he hits him with this, plan.
Right.
Like, okay, get lost. Like I'm not gonna listen to that.
Well,
he did a good job acting though.
Oh yeah. Oh, he did a great job acting. I was impressed with that. I thought that was really good. I think that, it's such a you have to really be careful when do I say is it too much? Do I not say enough? If I'm not like doing any kind of like game chat with these people, then they think that I'm plotting against them. But if I do too much game chat or the wrong kind of game chat, like it's got to be this. And since I've never been on the island to understand this, but there's got to be this constantly going, because I don't usually second guess myself that much when I'm making a decision. I feel like I get all of the facts and then I can make an informed decision on anything. But in this kind of situation, you never know what's happening. So you're always running plays, at least for me, I'll be running plays through my head. So if I say this, and what are they going to say and how are they going to respond? And is that going to piss this person off? And if I tell them this, is it, if I do like put a name out, is it going to like put me in a bad spot? Are they going to flip it and turn it? Like I would be constant because I'm like, you're a strategist too. So you're always kind of like running scenarios. Like if I do this, what's the outcome? Who is it going to affect? How is the response going to be? What are the, that would be going on constantly in my brain and it would wear me out. So I wonder how much like Matt did that at all when he was thinking about spilling this, like, oh, we should do this kind of thing, if he hadn't had those conversations with them before.
Yeah. I thought he should have done something like fake a hidden immunity idol, because he's coming from the Hina beach. Jason wouldn't really know. I guess Jason. Wait, so on Hina, did they find an idol? Maybe not. I actually don't think they did on Hina.
I don't think so.
So yeah, I think you should have like faked it out or done like a live tribal, mixed it up or really caused chaos. So I thought that wasn't very, not very strong. He didn't really put up much of a fight.
Well, you have to remember, nobody had been to tribal except for Sophie and Alex.
Right.
So like these guys, Sophie was the only one that kind of knew tribals when they went. Everyone else, this was their very first time being a tribal and understanding the dynamics and how things work, kind of, and when to say to, like, it just was to me, that was just really interesting because there was so much newness, even though we'd already seen these tribals. We knew, like, it just was their first time. They were still getting fire. When I heard Jeff say that this is the ritual at tribal council, fire is your life, and when your flame goes out, you know what I mean? Like, it was, he said that once in the beginning, and then he hasn't said it, and now we hear it again. And to me, that's always an interesting, like, situation when they do that. When you see somebody that comes and they haven't been to tribals yet, but this was like everybody there except for Sophie.
Yeah. That's always like a goosebump moment.
Yeah. It's like, because you get, because it's like tradition, right? It's like what you're waiting to hear that kind
it's like
thing.
First night at summer camp when you walk in and you're all around the campfire, and they initiate you into the well, recap the episode a little bit here. Starts off, they just do a quick recap on Alex and Sophie B, and okay, and then they go,
and we have shoes.
Oh, what was that? Oh yeah, they get hit by the waves at night.
Like, the ghost of Jake has come
to
the beach and stolen a single shoe. It was an ode to
snake.
Jake.
He grabbed it and then pulled it.
The snake grabbed it and pulled it. Yep.
That evil snake. Yeah. Well, don't they know you shouldn't sleep below the vegetation line on the beach?
They do not know that.
They don't know that. They do know.
They do
that
now.
That was funny.
Why were they even doing that? That's what I didn't. Anyway.
Yeah. So the first. Yeah, it's weird. So then they go and they have a fake challenge set up. Jeff says that's called a survivor fake out.
Uncle Jay, come on now, Uncle Jay.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, that's.
Yeah, what do we think about that? Because
that was weird.
The whole thing felt a little weird, and I really I was like, where are we going to see a bag of rice moment? Because I thought something fun was good. Uncle Jay was going to bring some of the crazy fun to the game, and it was just a Survivor production fake out.
Built the whole set.
We built a whole set because we needed to keep the guys busy.
Maybe they were gonna do that challenge, but since Jake went home, right. So they just had that set left over, and they needed a place to shoot. Also want to mention he called it a Survivor tribe switch, not a tribe swap. From my recollection, has always been a tribe swap, not a tribe switch.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I didn't catch that. I usually catch things like that. I have no idea, but that is really interesting.
What's your recollection? Isn't it tribe swap? Is this a Mandela effect moment?
No, it's swap.
Yeah. He said, no, we're going to do a tribe switch.
Interesting.
I'm upset about it. So then they do a tribe.
What was that? Don't throw weird terms at us.
Yeah.
Jeff. Uncle Jay.
Switch means something different than a swap. Okay? Switch and swap, it's not the same.
Doesn't have the same ring to it. Yeah, right. Johanna, I agree. It doesn't have the same ring to it at all. I don't know what that was about. I thought the whole thing was just wonky. Can I just say that? Because first of all, the banana thing, and then we got the fruit, and like nobody like, and then they were like pissed. Who was it that was pissed about the
It
fruit?
was Sophie. It was Sophie.
Sophie.
She's my number one pick, and like that made me say like, okay. But I said that actually, I said the exact same thing. I was like, fruit, like they're eating fruit. Like, do you really want more fruit? Like, I understand it's calories. Like, of course you're gonna take it. But I was kind of with Sophie in that fact where I was like, that's not a great reward. It's like quick. You like, it's just sugar. You just eat a bunch of sugar, and then it's like off. It's like Sophie was saying, it's not like carbs or meat where like sticks to your bones and it gives you long lasting energy. It's just like you eat it, you get a high, and then it's just like, but I mean, it's better than nothing. It's calories.
But the other side of that is fruit will last a bit longer. So you can ration it and
True.
it's not going to spoil as fast. It's not like meat where it's like, well, we got fish, so we better eat it today because otherwise we can't eat it. It's going to make us sick. So with a fruit, it's like nourishment that can last you with a tribe for a little bit longer. That's how I always looked at. That's why I thought the fruit ones were great, because you could portion it out.
Yeah, and then you could sneak off and eat it when no one's looking.
This is also
Tyson
true.
Style. They mentioned though they didn't show them eating any of it, so they made this big hullabaloo about the fruit, and then they didn't even show them eating it. It's like, okay,
but it just felt the whole.
Did they? I guess that was at the challenge when they won it, or was that
that was at the challenge that they won the fruit. Yeah, but I just thought like both times bringing everything together, everything just kind of felt. I feel like because I've seen things with Jeff lately, okay? When he talked about the whole Jake experience and how it was way scarier than what it was perceived on TV. Like, I thought it was really strange. Is he still breathing? Is he still breathing? Right? Like when Jake was coming up in the boat and they didn't know, and like how much like worse was it really? Because there was that just didn't seem like, I don't know. But so here's my hypothesis on this. It really got a lot scarier than they said. And it really shook everybody up, even Jeff, because he said it was the first time anything like that had ever happened. And they might have missed a production meeting or two. And they had to scramble because Jake was gone. And they, Jeremiah was, isn't that who it was that went home? Jeremiah. Yeah. Jeremiah was gone too. And so the team was off. And so so that's why everything, to me, it's maybe why I think it felt the whole thing just kind of felt awkward. The whole, like there were a lot of, and it wasn't with the tribes. So it's not something that happened on the tribes. They got the swaps and everybody was doing their thing and they're like sneaky, whatever. And that's like normal Survivor stuff. But for me, the part that felt off was anything that Uncle Jay was involved with. I'm going to keep calling him that now because that's what, is it Christina? That's what Christina calls him, Uncle Jay.
I think it was Jawan.
Was he the first one to call him that? So now they're all calling him
walked
Uncle
in.
Jay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know who's the first,
but that's like, it just, everything just felt like they were less prepared perhaps, or didn't have as much going on. So they were having issues and difficulties with it. And so that showed on camera, and just the switched over the swap, right? Like little things like that. And then that hokey production fake out crap was just dumb because somebody thought of it last minute. And so Jeff's like, sure, I'll say that. Or, you know what I mean? Like it didn't have that polished smoothness. Even the bag of rice with the knife in it was completely planned. And you could feel that like Jeff was like looking forward to that. And he got really into that. Like we didn't see any of that stuff. This one just felt like, what's wrong with fruit? Okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
I could go
on. Well, that
made
me doubt kind of Sophie, a little bit because, not being able to read the tribe and just kind of that answer, it's not a terrible, whatever. And, maybe it's just a blip, but it made me kind of doubt her as how observant is she of the group, and is she a little bit too different from people, and not tapped into like kind of, everyone's kind of mindset and stuff being out there. So it just made me kind of doubt her. And then I got doubts of Jason, you know, because he doesn't seem like he's very social or very hungry or conniving or anything like that. And then I really had a lot of doubts about Nate too. I just think Nate, I just don't think he's, you know, very, you know, you saw a moment where he connected with Sophie B, you know, about his kids and stuff, but he just doesn't seem very in the game. He doesn't seem like a strategist, really. He doesn't seem to have like a lot of hunger too. But you look at, I think, Savannah, like right now, I'm really seeing Savannah as like the winner. She kind of has a winner look to her.
Yep.
You see her and Rizzo are strategizing and they seem to be in the driver's seat. They have Nate, who's like definitely the number 3 of their number 2. They're really driving it. You know, I think Savannah's going to be able to get in with like almost all the other females. You know, you see them on 52. So I'm feeling like Savannah's going to win this. And I think like she's super short, she's super tiny. Like I think that's kind of disarming. You know, people aren't really looking at her as a threat, but she's really likable. Rizzo's, I think, less likable, but I do think those two kind of control the game. I think Nate's kind of the number 3, but he's just kind of going along and, you know, probably will over evaluate his game maybe and think that people maybe like him more than they do. He just doesn't seem like he's like going to connect with people.
Nate is going to have, here's Nate's problem. And I could see it at the challenge. And I just think it's going to come out. He's a frustrated parent right now. That's how he feels towards these kids that he's playing with. He's got that parental frustration.
Yeah.
Because when they were trying to pull that boat up and they were getting they had to like put their tie thing around the pole and everything. And you could hear him saying stuff like, oh guys, come on. Like, it's not this hard. Like I just felt this parental frustration. And he keeps talking about these as kids to him and how they're like the vibing and all the kid talk. And I'm not into that. And like he wants, like in his world, everyone has their job and they do it really well. And they have expectations and standards that they have to hold things up to. And these are a bunch of kids that are using their own language, that are goofing off. And I'm feeling his parental frustration. And I think that will be the death of him on this show. I think that he will just kind of he's going to say something and flip something or just show his frustration in a certain way that they're going to see him now as the parent scolding, and it's going to be enough to like push him away, at least to some of the people. That I just saw it during that challenge. I was like, that is, he was like, pass them the blocks when they were trying to, like, when he had somebody on his shoulders and he was like, pass them the blocks, like, give them the blocks. Like, this is not hard. I'm asking a simple thing here, which is my mode that I go into when I'm working with my own kids, right? I'm like, this is not difficult.
Right.
You will do this.
That's a good sense, honestly. Because he, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, he doesn't seem like he's having fun. Doesn't really seem like he wants to be there that much. He's definitely not connecting with people. And if you look at all the previous winners from like all the previous seasons, they've all been relatively young, right? You haven't had like, you know, somebody who was the older person in the tribe win. It's been all these really young people: Rachel, Dee, Kyle, Kenzie. Yeah, you know, these are all super young, bubbly. You know, it's this archetype. You know, somebody was saying like Survivor's giving like corporate retreat vibe. Okay. So yeah, I'm just seeing Savannah as like kind of fitting into that same mold as a Kenzie. You know, Dad Dave is only on day 4 of a week long family vacation. He's about to erupt. Yeah, that's kind of what it's like when he's at tribal. He's just kind of like sitting there, you know, like chaperoning. I'll stop this car right now. You know,
yes, I will stop this car and turn it around right now if you don't get back in your seats and shut up. That's how I feel with him. I just feel like he's just kind of, anyway. Nate is smart enough to be aware that he needs to conform to the vibes, which he said himself, but it's like, how long can he maintain the charade before he blows it? Yeah. That's exactly it. We started to see little bits of it. I could see it in his face, his tone, when he was like, just pass them the blocks. Like, so anyway.
Well, that's what I'm seeing. And
Nate.
like I said, I feel like Savannah is getting kind of a winner's edit. Rizzo is, I think, going to be kind of the bombastic, tagline. But I think Rizzo could win in the end because he has this story. But I just don't. And who knows what, Rizzo has an idol. That was one of the things on this episode is, well, Rizzo actually didn't really, I guess he did find it, but Savannah was like, hey, we should look right now, right? She had that sense to say, let's look for your idol right now. And then they handed it off to Rizzo. And I think Jawan was in on that, I believe, too, while they were looking.
Yeah, I think so. He was doing the keeping watch.
Yeah, he was keeping watch. So then Nate hands it over to Rizzo. Rizzo goes out and finds it. So, they're working well as a unit. I do think Jawan's going to kind of attach to them. I think Jawan probably will down the line try to do something else outside of that, and they'll get wind of it and get them off.
Can we point out that Brandon's in the audience and he's not here with us today? Brandon, we miss you.
We do miss you.
I did a summit yesterday, Brandon, for 4.5 hours, 5 hours. Alex was there. He stayed up till 4 a.m., but I did a tribute to you, Brandon. I actually had to do an introduction for a couple people. And so I used props. I just want to point out the fact that your influence is rubbing off on me, and I was using props. Didn't bring them today because I had to rush here from a doctor appointment, but all good. I was going to bring bananas and potatoes and vodka, which would have been a great combination. But I didn't. We miss you, Brandon.
Yeah, type in the chat something, Brandon. We need some humor. We need your take on this episode. And sorry, and we know why you're really gone, Brandon. It's because your team is looking pretty depleted.
We see
unfortunately. Yeah. But I was telling Bree, Brandon, you're in luck because you have the winner on your team, Savannah. I think if Brandon gets the winner twice in a row, he's kicked out the pot. No, I guess he's like, I don't know. He gets some sort of award. Miss y'all too. I'm in Dad Brandon for the next. Okay. Yeah. I'm about to erupt, he says.
I totally feel you. We don't have a whole week break, but it's a 3-day, they call it MEA, which I don't even know what that stands for, but school's not in session for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of this week. So I'm sure a lot of the parents are understanding your point of view. Had a snake bite, so I could leave this comment contest. Yep, that's the truth. And lost your shoe at the same time.
I want to talk about too the other tribe. So what is it? Kele? How do you say it?
Oh yeah, I don't know. I can't keep track of these tribes anymore.
Ina and the other one, the blue one, yellow and blue. So we got the blue tribe.
Yep.
Which is Shannon and Sage, who were on Uli, and then you have Sophie, Steven, Christina, MC,
and Alex.
And it was interesting, Alex is super relieved, to not be on a, and we'll see what he can do. Got Flint, got Fire, yeah, eating. It was interesting to see Christina and Shannon connecting so much. I wouldn't have really thought that to be the case, but they're both super. I mean, Christina's super bubbly.
Oh yeah, I love her.
Right, she's I like her too. She's super likable, really friendly face, nice smile, and they really connected. So I thought that was interesting. And it's interesting too, how Sage, like I think they're trying to paint Sage as like this weird person. And I mean, the blackheads thing, that's weird. And she even said, hey, if you want to think I'm gross and judge me, okay, I'll judge you on that. But like, she seems very normal, actually. And like, she has a good head on her shoulders. I mean, she's not that wacky. I think maybe she likes to be a little bit wackier than, she seems very normal. She seems to like kind of understand things. She's got an interesting kind of look about her. And maybe that adds to kind of like this perception that she's, and I think maybe maybe she feels weirder than she really is type of thing.
I think she puts herself in that position more than others would. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
definitely.
She seems like a normal, like good, like nice, person. So, and then she was calling out Shannon as like, hey, Shannon is, this, and Steven even said it too. She's a shark in a guru's body, or she's she's so like connecting with people, and she's so engaging and like a cult leader, and then she switches she was all, I'm connecting with the ocean, I'm connecting with nature, and now she's like a Christian. And actually, if you look at her TikTok, I mean, she's like a full Christian now, and it's not she even said it, I'm not into this like magic or essentially paganism or all the like all this yoga stuff. Like, I mean, she's one, and Shannon or Sage even said it, she's like, all of a sudden now it's like all about Christian, and I'm not going to call it like whatever you want to believe in stuff, but like, to use that in Survivor to connect with people, I don't know. I mean, it happens all the time, but I just thought, and Sage would know because she was on both tribes, and she's the only one to see that transition with Shannon, right? For her to be on one tribe, and then when she said basically the spirituality or her faith, meaning her Christian beliefs, are being receptive over here, and now she's talking about them all the time, right? And I don't think you actually even see a lot of, I think you saw it on old school Survivor a lot more like religion, and a lot more kind of people connecting on their Christianity and stuff, which it's fine to do, but I just thought it was kind of interesting. You don't really see that much anymore in Survivor. You don't get like evangelicals or people who every time they're talking, it's I'm a Christian and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Unless it's like Brandon Hansen.
Yeah, exactly. But and what a fine example. Right. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's as the world kind of shifts,
right,
it's reflected in what is stressed upon, anything in the last 9 seasons has been, don't be a lawyer or a police officer or an actor or anyone that makes money, or just be an employee at McDonald's. But don't be a pizza guy either.
It's too humble.
You
have to be in marketing.
Yeah, it's got to be something. I'm never going to tell anyone I'm in elevator sales. I don't think I would ever want to tell anyone anywhere I go that I'm in elevator sales. How many elevators do you sell a year? None.
I don't know.
Like how many?
0.
Like really? Like
in Hawaii too.
Yeah.
There's not that many tall buildings.
I don't know. It's just so random and weird. Like, how is that a profession? But anyway, I digress.
Cody, right? It's Cody.
Yes. Very strange to me. So I think that like that's kind of where everything is. Like they're all, I don't know what we need to find out what the tea is and what they actually talked about at camp, because here's the thing. There's a lot of time that's not shown. Obviously, there's hours and hours and hours and hours that's never shown, and even maybe not even that well recorded, though I think they're probably recording more. But there's a lot of times that they sit around the campfire and just share stuff about their family and about who they are and different things, and have these different conversations that we never get to see. But I know that they happen because I've talked to players that say that this is the thing that's going on. And so they, this is where they're really forming these bonds and getting to know each other. So when you see them at that final tribal council and they're like, I know all your kids' names, I know your dogs' names, I know your Aunt Sue and Uncle Frank, I know, like, they know all this stuff about them. It's because of they having these conversations that we're not seeing, that are just getting to know one another and kind of just relaxed and maybe not so game involved all of the time, where you're trying to find those connections. And so I think that that's maybe that they're just choosing not to show a lot. Because I would imagine if your Christian faith is, or whatever your faith is, I don't care if it's Christian or whatever, whatever faith that you have, that you believe in, I think that, there's a lot of opportunity to discuss it, but maybe production is just not sharing a lot of it, because we don't see those campfire moments late at night. Well, unless you don't have a flint, I suppose you have no campfire moments. You sit around a green log that's just not doing anything.
They love showing though the morning yoga session.
Yeah, that's like the thing.
Like across all Survivor seasons, like in New Era, it's like you always see the breathwork practitioner out there leading the morning, nostril breathing session. It's like,
which they're not allowed to do anymore because now we have snake issues. So,
right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
they may not be doing all of that
Well,
stuff, but
what you're saying there about like the knowing stuff about people, I think if you do see Savannah go to the end with somebody like Rizzo, she was saying, I'm use my interviewing skills, you know, to like get that out of Matt. Nobody else asked Matt.
yeah.
I mean, and that's kind of the logical question. The guy's older. Have you always been in baggage claim? Which the guy doesn't look like he has. When you learn more about him, like he doesn't look like a guy who, I mean, the dreads are kind of deceiving, you know? Like, so it is a logical question to be like, have you always done that? And then, no. Well, what did you do before that? Like for me, I would be like, yeah, I totally asked that question. Nobody else on the island, nobody else in the tribe asked that. Like, that's really weird.
Yeah.
People aren't asking questions out there to people. So I don't know why that isn't. You know, and if Savannah's the only one doing that, I think she's like far ahead of people. And Rizzo's not going to ask that either.
No.
No, because he's self-aggrandizing and he's like just super game focused. He's not going to make those connections. So if it does go to the final tribal where it's Rizzo versus Savannah, people are going to have a much deeper connection. Savannah's going to understand them much better. And I feel like Rizzo's going to overestimate his kind of ability and just kind of blow up, I guess. But that was really weird to me. It's like no one else asked Matt, what did he do before he chucked luggage? Like you did that your whole life?
No, he did sense. Not. Yeah.
Right.
No.
And then it was funny too. You know, Savannah's framing it. Oh, he was big up in finance. Oh, he was a branch manager, you know, at like Wells Fargo. I mean, that's like nothing, you know, he's like a finance branch manager. Like that's nothing.
Nothing.
Like not, but I mean, it's her kind of framing it, right? Of you gotta be careful of this guy. You know, he's really quite. He's like balancing a spreadsheet, like, you know, looking at people's credit report. Like it's not that big of a deal, guys. But can't be a finance branch manager either. It's another one of the professions.
Oh yeah, they just have all these different.
They're sociopaths, as Savannah said.
Yeah,
sociopaths.
Savannah, she's got it all wrapped. I don't know. I know that you're liking her to see her go to the end, and that would be Brandon's saving grace to still have a player that's gonna get him to the end. I'm still really liking MC because here's one of the things I wanted to point out. He asked me to. There you go. True, Johanna. You know, here's the thing with MC is that she is under that pressure. And she didn't have, the spotlights on her. Really, like she didn't like step into this big spotlight and look at me. I'm doing all this stuff, and no, it was her calmness and her like strategy and just like, no, lift me up. I'm gonna go up there and do this. Let's go. Like it was just very like just throughout her. I'm just liking her more and more and more and more every single time. And I think she's doing really well while still keeping her threat level pretty small. I mean, it's going to be there because of who she is, but not as obvious and out there as some of the other people that are talking about stuff or complaining about fruit, or even Christina being so likable and so friendly and bubbly and knowing everybody and immediately making friends with people that that they just got together with. I think that still puts Christina in probably a more difficult position, or Sage, even Shannon in a difficult position, where MC is still just chill, like just like, I'm not going to have any spotlights on me, but I'm going to make sure that we're winning and we're doing good things. So
yeah, she's super likable, fitness trainer profession. You can see that. Soft-spoken, but super, likable, great smile. So I think she can go far. I do think that she doesn't seem like you saw some strategy when she was saying, hey, I really like Steven. She's kind of aligning with Sophie. So she does kind of identify with maybe a little bit more of a strategic game, but she's just kind of more in the background of it. She's not out there if she's going to make a strategy decision, it's going to be thought out. It's going to be at the right time. She's not just going to go out there and spitball ideas with people and run around and it's going to be like this is the move. It's kind of low key, gather her friend group and like, gather her alliance and kind of make it, together. She's not going to be like the person probably leading the charge unless she really feels like she has to. So I really like MC2, super likable. What else was I going to say? Didn't hear much from Steven. Didn't hear much from Sophie this episode, except the fruit. Yeah. What were you just talking about right before this? You were talking about MC being a likable person. Yeah.
I think she's likable, but in a non-threatening way. She's not too much. She's not too little. She's finding that groove, that place to be where she can help her team win without putting a target on her back. She's not over, conversing with people about strategies and what's our next move and throwing names, like you had said, throwing names out there and doing all those things. She's taking it all in. She's listening. She's making her moves quietly but effectively, and just the way to me, she's doing everything that she needs to do to put her in a winning position.
I feel like that might end up coming back to bite her a little bit, because there might be people who
don't realize what she's done.
Don't realize what she's done. Don't maybe respect as much of the game that she's played, because she plays a little bit too, under the radar, isn't leading the charge, and you could see somebody like Savannah coming through and, just steamrolling it in a different way. So I don't know if people are going to respect it. I don't know if she's great at puzzles or anything, but great balance, strength, she's tall. So, there's a lot of advantages on the challenge side. But again, come merge, that might be a huge strength or a huge target. You got rid of Matt. He was kind of a bigger guy. You don't have a lot of other strong people. I mean, so they might, I don't know if they're going to go that way. What I was going to say too was, I think it's too early to do it, because like throwing a challenge, right? People are saying this is a really smart time to throw a challenge, because you have this lopsided tribe, and basically old Hina knew that, it was going to be Matt or Jason going home very likely. I mean, maybe there was an idea that Sophie might go home. Yeah. But somebody was saying, it's like maybe that was the right time to throw, but I don't think anybody would. It doesn't seem like a Christina thing to throw. MC probably wouldn't. Sophie doesn't really seem that way. Steven doesn't really seem that way. There's nobody who's like super conniving on that tribe who like has that. I feel like maybe Rizzo would feel like throwing, or, maybe Jawan, I think even would be like, yeah, let's throw it, and maybe just do it without telling people. But it would make sense in that scenario, because they are so close to merge, that you want to go into merge with more people. And it would have been relatively easy to throw that challenge just by knocking over the blocks. What do you think about that? I mean, I don't like when people throw challenges. I don't like it at all. But, it's been done many times on Survivor. And this time, because like I said, they are so close to merge. I mean,
well, when you get in a position where they do a tribe switch, and switch, not swap, switch. And maybe they're going to switch them again on the next one. You never know. They could show up at the beach, have another production fake out, and then switch again. We're playing hot potato now. You never know. But when you have that, and you're that, you have that many of your own people with you, and then you have 2 or 3 from the other tribe, that you can really just wipe it out, so that when you do get to merge, you are in the majority. It does kind of make sense for that tribe to say, hey, let's throw this. But it still worked out to get rid of Matt. I thought that was, they were kind of going back with Jason and Matt, and which one should we get rid of? I was glad they got rid of Matt.
Yeah, me too.
And did you see the flack that apparently he got flack for saying anyone but me? And say because I think what it was is he said, not that I agree with Sandra about that she deserved to win, but I will use her anyone but me kind of.
Yeah, he was getting flack for hating on the queen, which
you can't hate on the queen. Right. Cannot hate on the queen.
So he was getting flack for that because he's like, he's no Sandra. He's not even, very
That's
good.
right.
I think in that moment that you saw, like, so the reason that they voted Matt was because, I mean, they just didn't, like, he was scrambling. They eventually, I think, ended up totally going with Matt because he threw Nate's name out there, and then Nate had a vendetta against him. He's like, Matt is dead to me in this game, and Rizzo and Savannah have to stay strong with, Nate. They can't go under Nate's, go behind his back and vote off Jason, because they said that we prefer to vote Jason off because he doesn't seem like he wants to work with us. Matt didn't either, but I mean, that again shows the flaw in Jason's game. He should have been like, I'm the nerdy guy on the bottom of the other tribe. I have no position over there. I can feed you all the information. I could be a sleeper cell. I could, work with, he just was like, no, I like that tribe. I want to work with that tribe. I could be a bridge, but that's my, so he didn't just impress me at all in that moment.
Nope.
And yeah, nothing that he did in the entire episode really made me say like, oh, this guy's going to be a winner in any way. Nintendo man, you're letting me down.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I want to be I did see the same thing. Before we go, and because we were talking a little bit about Sandra, I wanted to share a moment that I had with Sandra about 5 years ago now. So I want to share my screen, and let me make sure I can share sound. Which one am I looking at here? I don't know what I'm looking at. This one here. Also share audio. I'll show you just a little bit. But this was my first experience working with the Queen. Here we go.
Hey everyone, this is Sassy Sandra, the Queen of Survivor. I'm a 2-time winner of Survivor, and you could be a winner too with your own health and weight loss survival journey. I want to invite you to join 21 Jumpstart so you can get that winning jumpstart on your goals for 2021, as well as introduce you to the fabulous Bree and the phenomenal Kelly. These amazing women have been where you are and have jumped and now are winners of their own survival journey. They offer you tons of support, encouragement, and will be your #1 fans to help you along the way. Winning Survivor not once but twice was a struggle. I was gaining weight year after year, and now after participating in 5 seasons, I'm finally putting myself first and watching everything I eat and exercising more than ever before. My journey continues. I didn't gain it overnight, so I'm not going to lose it overnight, but I've jump-started my new life, and I'm excited to continue this journey, and I hope you can join us. So join 21 Jumpstart now. Do not hesitate. Hard work and determination pays off and will help make it easier than it looked for me winning Survivor twice. Join now and get a jump start on your goals. You got this. You can do it, and we will do it together. Queen stays queen. Adios.
So there we go. I had to share that. That was a lot of fun.
Sassy Sandra.
That was Sassy Sandra. I got to work with her. She did a promo for me for a weight loss program that I did back in 2020. And she was so kind to make that for me. Like, I just asked her to do that, and she did that. So that was really, really cool. She probably costs a lot of money to do that now. She is. So, and I'd like to hear that she put a little story in there. Otherwise, you can tell it was scripted, but it was just a lot of fun. So I don't care, Matt. You shouldn't be hating on my favorite player. It is what it is. But who's going home this week? We got to make a pick, and then we got to head out the door.
Next episode, I'm feeling like it's gonna be Jason. I mean, it's either gonna be Jason or I think it's gonna be Sophie. Or, I'm sorry, not Sophie. Sage.
Which one?
Sage. I think it's gonna be Sage.
Sage.
Yeah, I think it's gonna either be Jason. I mean, it depends who loses, right? It's gonna be Sage. I mean, they're trying to kind of fake like, oh, there's this. It could be Savannah, but she's gonna be covered by Christina, and I think Savannah is well liked. I'm sorry. Not Savannah. Shannon is covered by Christina. Got a lot of S's. We got
We have
two
a lot.
Sophies,
Yeah, there's a lot. There's
Shannon,
two Sophies,
Savannah. Yeah.
a Sage,
Sage.
Sophie, Savannah, Shannon, Sage,
Steven.
Steven. Okay, that's enough. Next
Okay.
season, we're choosing a different letter of the alphabet. Yeah, I have to agree. I think it's going to be Sage. I think Jason actually maybe makes it through this, and the reason I say that is, I think Jason will. I think they're going to be a puzzle, and he's going to shine, and they're going to keep him around
Yes.
long enough because nobody else has that capability, and they're, Matt, I could see why he was gone, because if he was there for strength and agility and ability, he didn't have it. He was, fumbling, and not that it cost them anything, but they did lose their advantage that they did have. And so, yeah, I think that if Jason can get a puzzle where he saves his tribe, that's going to keep him going for a little while, because they're going to see him as a possible, like, just keeping them from going to tribal. But Sage, I think, I just think it's her awkwardness with people that's going to be her undoing. And they're definitely foreshadowing that a lot as well. So,
well, she doesn't kind of get in people's personal space. Like,
you're being corrected in the chat. Shannon. She's like,
Shannon.
Johanna says, Shannon.
Yes. Shannon will invade people's personal space, which is good. You want to enter into people's personal space. It builds trust. If you're too far away from people, if you're too kind of standoffish and you're afraid of that, you're not going to build a close connection. I mean, when Shannon and Christina were talking on the beach, they were like, their faces were like together. I mean, they were like leaning in, laying down, like every time I see Sage, she's like very separate from the group, and she just kind of has that awkward, like,
but I think she puts herself in that position. I think that is all on her and stuff like that. All right, well, we're going to wrap things up. We will see you next week. Brandon, come back to us. We can't wait to see you again, and give us your predictions in the chat. We would love to see that as well. Thanks for watching.